27 Sheffields in the world, I'm pleased to hear. And so we showed people where the Sheffields were. We showed, for instance, where steel was made in the world. We showed the different numbers of different kinds of people that came to Sheffield from different countries all around the world, the ethnic constituency of Sheffield, and how this all affects what makes the city work. I'll just quickly skip past that, show you some other stuff. We did a sound shed in the Victorian Albert Gardens, which was very interesting. We had the three-dimensional sound of the British countryside, beautifully convolving in 3D to be rudely interrupted by cityscape sounds, 40 dB louder, at which point everybody jumped in the air in the actual place, ran out, and all the children ran in, which I thought was quite interesting. We also did that at the Regent Street Festival. We're currently working, one of our most interesting projects working with the University of Virginia on a three-dimensional rendition of the whole of ancient Rome reconstructed, which we're going to create the three-dimensional sound content for. You'll be able to navigate around the whole of ancient Rome with a joystick and go into buildings, hear what it would have sounded like, for instance. And as a follow-on from that, we're talking to the people who run the Colosseum Interpretation Centre about filling the Colosseum with speakers to create the sound of it being full of 50,000 people at the time of 400 AD. Cool. The sound of the gladiators fighting, the sound of sea battles, the sound of the water organs, the horns, the people chanting for their own particular favourite gladiator, for instance. All in 3 dimensions for a lot of people simultaneously. And we're very interested in this kind of communal idea of artistic sound interpretation in 3 dimensions for a lot of people all at the same time. In case you're wondering, we don't have 3-dimensional sound here today, so unfortunately the budget didn't stretch to it, but you have to come to one of our other events to see that. Recently, just down the road in fact, down at the BFI, together with Mike over here, we did a piece called London Conversation, where we had 100-metre wide projections and 3-dimensional sound for the opening of the new BFI, which was a big success. And
close your eyes and
listen. A little bit of this.
The distant sounds of the city. The wind in the trees. An overheard conversation.
I leave this big dramatic note saying, you know, file under S is following up for full guys, so not, you know.
So no reaction still?
And well, he hasn't reacted apart from, you know, last night this woman I'm moving in with said she saw him last week and he asked how I was and stuff to her. And that's like nothing, right? But to me I'm going, he asked how I was? Really? Really? What did he say? I asked her 4 times to repeat the 2 sentences.
So Mike will be showing some more stuff later that's in a similar vein, but we're hoping to take that piece to Seoul, to a large outdoor installation and create a 3-dimensional interactive version with live DJing adding to the whole piece. This will be in spring next year. We recently did 7 interlocking 3-dimensional soundscapes in the new Royal Observatory Space Galleries at Greenwich, which is the first time that a museum anywhere in the world has used sound to link together different architectural spaces. I think in a kind of immersive way. I think that's a very interesting future thread. We're also very interested in working with educational establishments, especially special needs schools, and we're creating an all-encompassing 270-degree projection, 3D sound, lighting environment for autistic and severely disabled children in Bath, which hopefully will be open by the end of the year. It says September here, it slips a little bit. But this is very interesting because we're trying to get people with very little range of movement or means of controlling their movements to actually have gross effects on their environments. So they maybe move their little finger and they can control leaves falling off trees, for instance, or bouncing around on the moon, or walking through a forest, etc., etc. One of the interesting things about the technology we've got is that we now recently discovered that we can transmit three-dimensional sound environments from anywhere to anywhere on Earth via broadband, which I think is astonishing in the possibilities it throws up. So, you know, we can basically translocate experience across the Earth. This is an interesting technology that I bumped into when I was in Los Angeles. It's gestural recognition technology, but it's extremely well developed. We've been working on it. It's the people actually designed the look of Minority Report who've actually turned it to reality. And just by using special gloves with dots on that are on here, you put your fingers in this direction, you can navigate around the screen, grab things, but also move in and out of the screen in 3 dimensions, which is kind of blurring the kind of membrane between the virtual and the real. That's quite good, isn't it? Roll that one down, Lewis. We also did a Future of Sound tour where we gave a lot of artists and practitioners the opportunity to use our 3-dimensional sound system with their technologies and find a way that they all interact with each other. We're hoping to roll this out next year to Brazil and to South Korea, and we've got some dates in the USA as well. We're going to do some more in Britain, and we're also hoping to do a thing called Future of Light, which will kind of, if you like, complete the circle of what we believe is the future of this kind of immersive experience. Forget about TV, forget about film, don't forget about it, but put it on the back burner for a while and let's look at things from a kind of more, what should we say, more abstract point of view to create new and interesting experiences that leave some space for people's imaginations. Some people that took part in the Future of Sound tour can't be here today, unfortunately, but Brian Duffy and the Modified Orchestra, I'm sure you've bumped into him at some point. If you haven't, if you ever see his name on a billboard or for any concert, you just buy a ticket, take my word for it, it's brilliant. And also, Lewis becomes very embarrassed when I put this one up, but the Sancho Plan, which Lewis is involved in, who helped to organise all this, his band are exceptionally entertaining. They create a narrative with interactive avatars on the screen which respond to the percussion play, the live electronic percussion play, live. And it's really an exceptional piece of work. I'm trying to interest people at various theatres in Las Vegas at the moment to take up the technology, and so they can act as consultants or maybe even performers, who knows. And the future, well, you know, for what we do, it's all about collaboration fundamentally, so anything that you can think of that can feed in a kind of control mechanism into our system can control where sound appears in midair. It's as simple as that. So anything that deals with 3-dimensional location in digital forms, or it doesn't have to be 3-dimensional, in terms of any kind of digital rendition, we can combine it with 3-dimensional sound to create an immersive experience. We'll hold the questions for now. I want to introduce you to my first guest now. It's not much like Parkinson, this is it, he's retired now, I'm sorry. Ross Phillips from SHOWstudio will show you some of his work. Always been very entertained by this. Ladies and gentlemen, Ross Phillips, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Ross, I'm head of interactive at SHOWstudio. SHOWstudio is a website that was set up by Peter Saville and Nick Knight about 6 years ago, I think. I've been there about 3 years. And it was set up to kind of show the process and the creativity behind a lot of fashion, arts and music. So whereas you'd see a kind of glossy finished photo in a magazine, we were there to kind of show the process of creativity that went behind that, and also to kind of engage that process in our own projects. So I've got 4 pieces of work that I want to show you that I've done in my time there. And I do quite varied work, but there's 3 kind of things that I always come back to, which I've brought together here. One is I really like to use people's images in work and to allow them to put themselves into the work. I think people are very interested in looking at themselves, and I think that's quite an easy sell to people. 2, all of this work has come out of little research projects that I've done, or